So now this video discusses about how we can multiply and divide the algebraic terms. Let's say if we have something about, let's say we have 2a in the terms, let's say 5. How do you think we can have this? So in this case, we have a term which is given as 2a and we have the term which is given as 5. So here there is a variable, while here there is no variable. So in this case, the numbers we just have to multiply. We'll have it as 10, then times the actually variable which is a. We'll have it as 10a. And likewise, let's say if you can have 6x times, let's say 4m. How do you think you can have this? So in this case, here we have a number 6, here we also have the number 6. These numbers will multiply. We'll have it as 24. Here there is x, here there is no x. Instead there is m, here there is x. So we'll just have to multiply this. We'll have it as 24xm. We'll have that. And how about, let's say if we have a times a? What do you think will be this? So in this case, we are multiplying two actually a's. So this is the same as having it as a to the power 2. We'll have that. And how about, let's say if we can have something like this. Let's say if we have 10m divided by, let's say, should be 2. How do you think we can have this? Mind you, having this case, it is the same as the 10m divided by 2. So what we have here is the number which is 2, and here we have the number which is 10. So just have to divide the numbers. That will be given as 10 divided by 2 and that times m, which is the same as 5m. We'll have that. And how about, let's say if we have something like this. Let's say if we can have 6xy divided by, let's say, 2ym. How do you think we can divide these two? So in this case, it is the same as having it as 6xy divided by 2ym. So the numbers will divide. What is 6 into, actually 2 into 6, we have it as 3. And for this case, y and the y will cancel. We'll have, so in this case, we'll have it as a 3x divided by, and that should be m, like that. So that is the solution. And how about, let's say if we can have this. Let's say if we have, should be 2a times 7b. How do you think we can have this? So in this case, the numbers will multiply. We'll have it as 14, and the letters also have to multiply. We'll have it as, ab. That is the solution. And how about if we have this? Let's say if we have about 15 p square times, let's say, should be 4 q square, let's say p to the power 6. So how do you think you can have this? So in this case, we'll have 4 times actually 15, which is given as 60. Then p squared times p to the power 6. So in this case, we'll have it as p to the power, and that should be 8. And that times q square, we'll have that. And let's say if we can have, let's say, what if we have this case? Let's say if we have it about, should be 54. Let's say p to the power 2 times q, which is divided by, let's say we have it as 9pq. So how do you think you can have that? So in this case, this is the same as 54 p to the power 2q, and divided by 9 p times q, like that. So in this case, what is 54 divided by 9? So that should be given as, we have it as a 6. In the 6, q into q, we have it as 1. P into p square, we have it as p. like that. So this is how we should have it. How about, let's say, if we have this, what if we can have, let's say, and that should be about 18x, and let's say divide by, and that should be, let's say, 3b. How do you think you can have this? So in this case we have it as 8x divided by 3b, of which 3 into 18, that is a 6x divided by b. We'll have that. Now there is something you just have to understand as well. The word of simply means multiplication, or we call it as product. So another name for multiplication, actually multiplication, we call it as the product. You know, for some case, for the sake of interest, we can have, let's say, 5 divided by, let's say, 2 of, let's say, 6x. How do you think you can have this? So now this is the same as having it as 5 over 2 times 6x. So in this case, this is the same as having 5 over 2 times 6 over 1. It is the same as that. Wherever you see, let's say, x, this is the same as x over 1. It is the same as that. Wherever you see any number of variable 1, it is the same as divided by 1. Even if you can have, let's say, x minus 2, no, this is the same as x minus 2 divided by 1. It is the same as that in all cases. But denominator as a 1, it is always neutral. So we'll have it as, and that should be, now we can cancel 2 into 6, that is 3. Then we'll have 3 times 5, which is 15x. We'll have that. So keep that in mind. So that's how we should have to understand about how we can divide or multiply the actually algebraic terms. Now let us see how we can evaluate the algebraic terms. Let's say if we have x being given as 3, and we have y, which is being given as, should be -2, and then we have z, which is given as 5. How should we have to evaluate the following? Let's say if we have xy minus should be z square. How do you think we can evaluate this? So in this case, wherever there is x, we'll have to substitute 3. We'll have 3 times, and wherever we have y, we'll have -2 minus z, that is 5 to the power 2. So what is 3 times -2? That is -6. And in that case, we'll have -5 to the power 2, that is 25. So we'll have it as -31. How about if we have, let's say, on the same case, if we have x plus, let's say, y times, let's say, if we have 3x minus 4. Now how do you think you can have this? So principle remains the same. Wherever there is x, we're going to have 3, and what is the y? We have it as -2. So in this case, keep in mind that, we have a plus, -2, like that, and it times 3 times 3 minus 4 should be that. So in this case, this is the same as 3 minus 2, because whenever we have negative times positive, actually positive times negative, that is the same as the negative. So have it as 9 minus 4, like that. So what is 3 minus 2? That is given as 1. The times 9 minus 4, that is given as 5. So 1 times 5, that is the same as 5. So that is the solution. How about, let's say, if we have this? Let's say if we have, and that should be something about, let's say if we have m is equal to, let's say, there should be 4, and we have n, which is equal to 3. Now we should have to evaluate, let's say we have 3m plus half, and we should have to evaluate that is that should be 1 over 4 m minus 5n. Now we should also have to evaluate it as 2m n to the power 2, and we should also have to evaluate it as 6m plus 2n. How do you think you can have this? And let's say if we can have, and that should be 5m minus 9n. So try to have that. How about, let's say if we have this, let's say if we can have a being given as 5, and if we have b is given as 9 and c is given as 1. So how should you have to evaluate the following? Let's say if we have a divided by, that is b plus c, and c plus, that should be 6. How do you think you can have this? So first thing, you know, this is the same as having it as a divided by b plus c plus 6. So take it from there. Then I wish to have it about, let's say we have b minus 2c, and that is you know, divided by, and that should be 4a minus, that is 2b. So how do you think you can have that? And let's say we should have also this as well. Let's say we have a square minus c square divided by, it should be b plus 3. How should we have it? Let's say if we have, you know, 3a plus c in the overall to the power 2, and which is divided by, it should be, you know, we should have it as this. We should have divided by, and let's say there should be 3a plus c. It has to be like that, and of course in the overall to the power 2. How do you think you can have that? And also try the following. Let's say if we can have this. Let's say if we have the equation which is given as E is equal, that is a half mv square. Now we should have to find the value of E. If we have m being given as 27, and if v is given as half. So how should you have the value of E in that way? And also, what if we have xfy, actually xy is given as, let's say, 5, and we have, let's say, y being given as, let's say, 2. Now we should have to find the value of x. We should have to find the value of x, and we should also have the value of, should be 2 times x plus y, if this is the case. So try to have it there. And how about, let's say if we have this, let's say if we have f being given as, let's say, should be 32 plus, that is 9 over 5c, like that. Then we should have the value of, should be f, if we have c being given as, that should be 20, and if we have c being given as 42, and if we have c being given as 75, 1 over 2, and if we have c being given as, and that should be 75, 1 over 5. So how do you think we should have that? So try to express those in your own terms. So that's how you start to understand about, you know, multiplication, division, and evaluating the actually algebraic terms. Thank you.